These are the best classes for the best guns. If you're trying to get an MGB or just pop off Modern Warfare 2, you're in the right place. So the first weapon we are going to be going over is the John Cena weapon, which is the LACHMANN 556. I just call it the John Cena because it always glitches out. So this class is insanely good. Just to show you guys real quick, pretty good amount of ADS speed, and there's so much damage range. Absolutely no recoil. This is one of my favorite guns to use in rank play. I always pop off with it. Yo, do you want these beautiful mastery camos or that heated madness, maybe the galvanic, or if you want your account ranked up to iridescent? Well, you should definitely check out Guapsi. Guapsi is a company that will play the game for you, and they'll get any camo or any skin that you want. Go check them out, link in the description. For the overall class, we are running a barrel, which isn't that necessary, but this barrel is just going to make the weapon so much stronger. Yes, it does slow the weapon a lot, but that's why I'm running the mobile stock in here to bring that back up. Plus, with the rear grip, we are getting a decent amount of mobility, and then I am running the high velocity just because I like to use this in rank play. If I'm outside of rank play, I usually run the overpressured rounds, and then I will tune it the same way that I'm tuning the high velocity. And then just to give you guys the tuning on the grips, there you guys go. And then for the muzzle, since this weapon has so much vertical recoil, I'm using the X10 ported, which is going to maximize that vertical recoil control, basically making this weapon just a complete beam. Like I said though, you don't really need to run a barrel on the weapon. That's only if you want to be very consistent at long range. So if you are very aggressive or you're just on a small map, maybe you want to run a laser. I recommend the OLE laser and then tune that for the mobility. If you want a little bit more stability, which is what I usually will do, I'll throw on the shark fin 90 and then I will tune that for more aiming auto stability and then a little bit of recoil stabilization. And maybe you don't like the optics, so the optic I recommend is the CRONEN Mini Pro or the Slimline Pro. I would tune that for the flinch resistance and make it a little bit farther away from your guy. And then if you're on shipment, you might want to run like a 40 round mag, but overall this is the base weapon. The last one is a personal preference thing, and I don't think I showed you the tuning on the barrel, so I'll do that real quick. Bring up the aim walking speed and the ADS speed, and for the tuning on the muzzle, just bring up recoil stabilization, reduce the horizontal recoil, and then bring up the gun kick control, which reduces the vertical. And then if you are curious of the secondary that I usually run on this build, we are running the FTAC Siege. I absolutely love this weapon. Got the FTAC folder for a little bit more recoil control, rear grip for more mobility, 72 round drum. You don't really need it. You can run the 50 if you want, or if you don't want to run a magazine, just run an underbarrel or the ammunition. We are running a barrel on this one just because the suppressed version of this one is pretty fun. If you want another very good build of this weapon, I think my next class or a few classes down will have another version of the FTAC Siege. For the tactical, I always run the stim. I'm running the Semtex on here. These are my respawn perks: Bomb Squad, Scavenger, Fast Hands, and Quick Fix. And then usually I will run the trophy system and the munitions box. If I'm not playing on a very hectic map, I'll take off the trophy system and add the dead silence. With all that said though, that is going to wrap it up for the LACHMANN 556. This next weapon we are going to be going over is the FENNEC, which I bet you haven't used the FENNEC in a long time. This gun is so underrated. I don't know why I don't see more people using it. It kills so quick and you have so much mobility. So for the build, I am running a laser, and I know a lot of you guys don't like the lasers. So if you don't want to run a laser, I would honestly take it off, obviously, and I would add a 45 round magazine, which just in general, you might want to run the 45 round mag because this weapon does blow through ammo very quickly. And then to get a lot of recoil control, because there is a lot of recoil in the weapon, add the Merc forward, and then I would tune it for the ADS speed. The hipfire accuracy is already pretty good, and then I would just bring up the aim walking speed to right about there. For the muzzle, we are running the Spiral Flash Hider just to control the recoil a little bit more. This is one of the best muzzles in the game for recoil control because it gives you a lot of recoil control with only hurting a little bit of your ADS speed compared to the other muzzles. And then since we have a lot of recoil control, we got to bring up the mobility, which is why I'm running the Agile Assault 7 stock. And then for the tuning, we are going to be bringing up the ADS speed and the aim walking speed, making it a little bit lighter. And the same reasons go for the FENNEC rubber grip. That is just to bring up that mobility, bring up the ADS speed, and the sprint to fire speed. For the secondary on this build, I am running the Akimbo P890. I found that the pistols are always better when you have them in Akimbo, which I honestly need to make a couple classes of like a single version. It's just the Akimbo is so much better that I find that I always do the best when I just have it in Akimbo. And then for the tactical stim Semtex, I like to use this class in search and destroy because I don't have that much ammo ammo, which in search you don't need that much ammo. So when I do play search and destroy, I'm running the double time, bomb squad, fast hands, and quick fix, very similar to my respawn one. And then I'll run the trophy system in case the enemies are always going for the spawn nade, and then obviously the dead silence, so you can run around the map a little bit quieter, which that is going to wrap it up for the FENNEC. This next one, oh, this is going to be the KASTOV 7.62. This gun, we all know this is a powerhouse of a weapon, 2-shot headshot. There's no recoil. You have a lot of mobility with this build. This is one of the best weapons to be pub stomping with in the matches. So because there is a lot of vertical recoil on the weapon and a little bit of horizontal, we are going to be adding the Sock and Tread 40, which does just that. And for the tuning, bring up recoil stabilization and the gun kick control. For the underbarrel, because there is a decent amount of recoil since we are running that pro light stock, this commando is going to add a lot of recoil control without hurting the ADS speed that much. If you are using this build and you're like, damn, I cannot hit my shots, then I would add the Edge 47. That one is a very good underbarrel. We are running the 40 round mag. If you don't want extra ammo, feel free to run a laser ammo or an optic, the same tuning that I recommend on the other builds. And then because this gun is very heavy, we are running the true tag grip, which is going to increase that sprint to fire and the ADS speed. And then for the tuning, you want to bring up that sprint to fire and the ADS speed. That sprint to fire is a very crucial aspect because every gun in this game has a very slow sprint to fire, which is why I'm running the pro light stock despite all the cons that it gives us. Like, this thing really hurts the recoil control, but the other attachments are mitigating a lot of that recoil. But if you are having a harder time using this weapon, then I would add the KASTOV Rama stock. This one gives you a little bit of mobility without really hurting the weapon at all. And then you want to tune them all the same way. Bring up the ADS speed and the aim walking speed, which right here is my favorite KASTOV build. If I do want to run an optic, then again, you know, I'll take off the magazine typically, which that's going to wrap it up for that loadout. Since the weapon is very heavy, it's an AR. Usually I'll run around the map with a knife so I can get around the map a little bit quicker. Running stim, semitex, same exact perks, bomb squad, scavenger, fast hands, quick fix, and the same exact field upgrades. Basically run these, I've ran the same thing the entire year, which that's going to wrap it up for the KASTOV 7.62. This next weapon I want to go over is going to be a shotgun, which, you know, at first you might not want to copy down the class, but trust me, when you have an enemy using a shotgun, you got to pull out your shotgun and show them who's daddy. This one has so much range right there. It ain't one shot, but I think in the regular matches, typically most of your engagements will be a one shot because I basically have a lot of mobility by adding the sawed off mod, which we need that mobility since the barrel, the rifled barrel, is going to be the best barrel if you want to maximize that range, but it's just, it hurts the ADS speed a lot, which is why I'm running the no stock on here. And then you do want to tune it for a little bit more damage range. If it's too slow for you, then I would increase the ADS speed to right about there, but I'm going to have it on the damage range. And then I would increase the aim walking speed because recoil steadiness really doesn't matter. And then they also increase the range. I'm running the BRYSON improved choke, which is going to make the pellets a lot tighter, so more of the pellets are going to hit the enemy, leading to more one-shot kills. Plus it's going to increase the damage range. Yes, it does hurt the ADS speed, but that's why we got the no stock. And overall, the ADS speed is still pretty good. Since the sprint to fire speed is very slow, I'm going to be increasing that. Yes, it is good to improve the pellet spread, but it's already pretty tight, and so I found myself doing a little bit better when I do increase the sprint to fire and then just increase the damage range, so then the gun is a little bit more consistent. But since this brings down the mobility so much, we are going to be running a laser, and then you want to increase the sprint to fire speed and then the ADS speed. And so now the weapon's going to be very mobile with a lot of range. What's also very fun is to run the canted laser. The canted laser is going to allow you to aim like it's like a hip fire aim, you guys will see. And this is honestly super fun to use. I usually run the canted. Sometimes I'll just use the VLK and then I'll tune them the same way. It's just whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And then lastly, for the guard, we are running the demo tactical pump just so we can rechamber the shells a lot quicker, leading it to us not dying if we get a hit marker because we can fire that second shot off a little bit quicker. And then you just want to tune it for the crouch movement speed, which doesn't really matter, but mostly that sprint to fire speed. That is very crucial. Which for the secondary, this is honestly my favorite FTAC Siege class. This one has a lot of mobility, not that much range, but it is a pistol, so that doesn't really matter that much. Again, if you don't want to run a laser, feel free to run in like an underbarrel or an ammunition, and same reasons go for the 50 round mag. And then for the rear grip, we are running the SIR to increase that mobility since that mag brings it down by so much. And then for the stock, we are running the FTAC folder for a little bit more recoil control, which that is going to wrap it up for this build. Running the same perks, tactical field upgrade. The last one that I wanted to go over. In this video, I want to be a little bit unique and give you guys like very underrated meta weapons, which one of those is the CRONEN SQUALL, which if you play Warzone, you know this thing is busted. So in multiplayer, it's pretty busted too. You don't see that many people using it. This build is a little bit slower. If you're playing search and destroy or you don't get in that many engagements, you don't really need the 30 round mag. It's just, I like the 30 round mag. I don't need to reload as often. And this is probably the best build to have a lot of ammo, a lot of mobility, and a lot of recoil control. You don't really need an optic. I'll give you guys a variation in a second. But since there's so much vertical on the weapon, we are going to be adding the sock and tread 40. And then you want to tune it for the gun kick control and the recoil stabilization, which will make the weapon a little slower. It just really helps out with that recoil control. This underbarrel, the phase 3 grip, is one of the most underrated underbarrels in the game. This adds a lot of recoil control without really hurting the weapon at all. And then for the tuning, increase the horizontal recoil control, which is that recoil stabilization, and increase the aim and auto stability. So then we have more predictable, less random recoil. Again, you don't really need a 30 round mag. If you don't want to run that, I would run a laser, the OLE laser, and tune it the same way that we have been. If you want, you can add some ammo, or you can go with the stock or the comb and just add something for mobility, since the weapon is pretty slow. Also, if you like the laser, like you really don't mind running a laser, then I would take off the rear grip and I would add a laser, because the laser is going to give you more mobility than the rear grip would. It's just the enemies can see the laser. So that's just a personal preference thing. For me, usually I'll like to just run the X10 grip and then I'll tune it for a little bit more mobility. And then lastly, for the optic, I'm running the CRONEN Mini Pro, making it a little bit farther away and increasing that flinch resistance, which I showed you guys all the tuning. If you don't want to run an optic or a magazine, honestly, I recommend adding a laser, or you could add a stock, which the stock I recommend is, honestly, I actually forgot the one, but I think I have it saved on here. Oh no, I would add a comb, the SAB comb stock, then I'll tune it for more mobility. This is a great way to get a lot of mobility without having that many cons. Obviously, the laser gives you more mobility, but the enemies can see your laser, so that's up to you guys. And just to show you guys this one's very, very fun. I dropped my first nuke with the weapon, the iron sights. So I like the iron sights a lot. Just a personal preference thing. And for this class, for the secondary, I'm running the X13, which is a full auto akimbo pistol. This thing is so fun to use. I really recommend you guys to use it. One of the best pistols in the game. Honestly, I wish you could use the F-Tac Siege and akimbo. That would be so sick. And they're running the same perks, same field upgrade, lethal, and tactical. So I think that is going to wrap it up for this video. Hope this was helpful. Hopefully you guys can get your MGB, and hopefully you guys did subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Deuces.